Woo! How are we all doing, everyone? Back at it again. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about The Journey, Season 2 of The Journey, and of course, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite 17-year-old that looks like a 27-year-old Alex Hunter. So this year, FIFA 17 had the most anticipated new game mode ever to have been released in a brand new FIFA, in of course, The Journey. The Journey turned out to be almost exactly what guys like me, career mode guys, and people that wanted a real story mode in FIFA ended up being. It was absolutely fantastic. It was not without its flaws, but it was very good. And even though plenty of people really enjoyed The Journey, some people were a little bit disappointed that it was only for one season and basically just ended straight after finishing the Premier League and the FA Cup. Well, I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk a little bit about what I'm hoping to see in Season 2 of The Journey, or what I think they should do next for The Journey. And on top of that, I'll also really quickly say that no, I honestly don't think that The Journey Season 2 should be added into FIFA 17's Journey. I think that should be saved for FIFA 18, and we'll get into why. Pretty much a lot of people are talking about the fact there may be some DLC coming at some point in the next few months or so to The Journey, which, to be fair, is possible. EA Sports have released DLC for FIFA before with the Euros and the World Cup, of course, so why couldn't they do it for The Journey? Well, even though they could do it for The Journey, I still don't really think they should, because EA Sports have a really rare opportunity on their hands here to actually sort of follow Alex Hunter's journey through the next few years of football. They could keep The Journey going for a very, very long time if they're following the current timeline of world football season by season. If you only have one season of The Journey per FIFA, I think that could actually end up, even though it is a little bit short, fitting quite well. Whenever something in real world football happens, like the Euros or the World Cup, they can incorporate that into The Journey. So I am pretty much going to be talking about what I think The Journey should be for Season 2, and I'm only going to be talking about it as if it's going to be its own thing in FIFA 18, just getting that out the way. So, without further ado, it took me a while to get the ball rolling, but here is what I want Season 2 of The Journey to be. And as I'm sure a lot of you would know, next year is going to be the World Cup. So this is what I would love to see to start things off in The Journey Season 2. Even though we're not really at the point where England would have qualified for the World Cup, I would love for English qualifiers to be in Season 2. I think it would be fantastic if you did well with England, then that could have a real big increase in your total fans. And if you were to do really well with England during the qualifiers, you could see a massive spike in his fan base. There may even be the possibility that, who knows, maybe England don't qualify for the World Cup, and maybe that entire section of Season 2 gets completely cut out if that happens, and maybe, who knows, maybe Alex Hunter's fans actually would go down as a result. And of course, if England do end up qualifying, then Alex Hunter would have to continue to play at a very high level, or at a decent enough level, to justify being called up to the World Cup. So even though that they would have qualified, you've still got to perform for the rest of the Premier League season, or whatever team that you're playing for, and then obviously get the call up to the World Cup. And maybe even, I just thought about this right now, you could continue the whole Gareth Walker, Alex Hunter rivalry by maybe potentially having only one of them going to the World Cup. Maybe there's only one spot available. It has to be either between Alex Hunter or Gareth Walker, and the two of you are battling it out for that final spot to go to Russia. So the Alex Hunter-Gareth Walker rivalry is still alive and well in FIFA 18 and in Season 2 if they do go and do that. And once all that's done, England qualify for the World Cup and Alex Hunter gets into the national team for the World Cup, then obviously you've got the World Cup itself. I would love to see them structure an entire World Cup tournament in The Journey and you play as Alex Hunter throughout it. It'd be fantastic. The group stages get all the way to the knockouts as well, and who knows, you might even see Alex Hunter winning the World Cup with England, which, to be fair, nowadays is probably the best chance England have of getting a World Cup anyway. So yeah, that's what I want to see. Obviously, right at the end, they only hinted the fact that there could be some international football in The Journey and for Alex Hunter coming up. So I really want to see as much of that as possible, and in a World Cup year, you want to see that. It would, of course, be happening toward the end of The Journey, so it'd have to be a real grind to get to the World Cup, but I think it would be worth it. So that's the international side of football things that I want to see in The Journey in Season 2. Now moving on into the more domestic stuff. Obviously, in the first season, it was possible that Alex Hunter, no matter what team that he was with, either won the FA Cup, maybe even the Premier League, because it is possible, and hell, maybe even got relegated with the club that he was in, but we'll get into that later. Basically, I would love to see some special dialogue and some actual cutscenes that are specifically tailored to whatever happened in the first season. It would be great, of course, depending on what happened in the previous season. Let's say, for example, Alex Hunter won the FA Cup but didn't win the Premier League. You've got someone saying at some point in the cutscenes, oh, it's great that we won the FA Cup last season. What a shame that we couldn't get that Premier League. Let's see if we can get it this season. Or maybe even let's say they won the Premier League and the FA Cup last season. If you had a specific cutscene for that saying, man, we did the double last season. That was great. Let's do it again or something, you know, specific. And of course, like I mentioned before, it is possible for you to be relegated in the journey. You can finish in the bottom three. And if that is the case, of course, I would love to see the teams that did finish in the bottom three that season to be relegated and for new teams to come up into season 2, although I don't know, that might not exactly work out that way, but still. If you were with a team, I would like to think that did get relegated in the season prior, maybe there's a chance that, you know, a transfer is going to be forced upon you. It's just going to come out and saying, look, we don't want you, we're going to sell you off as they go down to the championship, and maybe you go and pick another Premier League club. Maybe there's only certain Premier League clubs available, only certain Premier League clubs would want you, or maybe you just get to pick from every single one available. Just so that way, you know, you're still in the Premier League, because obviously it was Premier League only in the first season of the journey, and I think they're probably going to continue that trend. I don't think they could really structure and write, you know, an actual story for football an entire season in the championship. I just don't think that would happen. It was cool that, you know, they had that little segment where you got loaned away to one of those championship clubs, but still I don't think they could sustain an entire season like that. Something else I would love to see in season 2 of the journey is a bit more emphasis on European football. Like if you actually played for a team in your first season that finished in a European spot, then maybe you might have actually qualified for Champions League, Europa League or something like that, which of course is called the Champions Cup in career mode anyway. I don't know if that would transfer over to the journey because they just don't have the fucking rights to Champions League. I'm so pissed off that EA Sports somehow have not been able to get the rights to the Champions League. They just can't get it off of PES. If they did that, there would be so much potential. Not just for the journey, but for career mode as well. I mean, EA Sports, if they get the Champions League, as soon as they do, I hope they do bits with it because there's so much potential. But anyway, regardless of that, I would like to see more European football, some, you know, just that sort of level of competition available because again, if you're only going to do one season every single year for the journey, you want as many games and as much content as possible. And the European football will definitely help you out with that. But yeah, it would be great if instead of just focusing on the FA Cup, on the EFL Cup and on Premier League as well, you've also got that European football competition to chase as well. Something else as well that was alluded toward the end of the journey was the fact that your best mate, your new mate Williams, ended up getting some offers from that agent of yours. So maybe, potentially, he might go to a Premier League club. And what if said Premier League club happened to be the same club that Alex Hunter signed for? What if Williams and Hunter ended up being a strike force in the Premier League in Season 2? They could become the new unstoppable strike force in the Premier League, like the new S&S partnership of the Premier League, except it'd be like, you know, H and W, W and H, whatever sounds better. Basically what I'm trying to say is they could become the orange juice of FIFA. Squeeze the juice. I think that could be a pretty cool storyline for them to chase, these two players that are absolutely just ridiculously cohesive on the pitch. They're scoring bags of goals, assisting each other, and just being this incredible duo. I think that'd be a great sort of a cool new storyline or something for them to put into the Season 2. I think that would be fantastic. I mean, it obviously worked very well if you are an NBA 2K fan. That whole, it was you're my career player, your player that you would create, and then you've got this other guy that would play for you as well in your first season, and it was awesome. I'd love to see that come into the journey as well. So that's another thing I would like to see, but this next one is definitely a big one. I would love to see transfer offers for Alex Hunter in Season 2. And I'm not just talking about just other Premier League clubs as well. I would love if every single transfer window, maybe at some point randomly, an email comes through saying, just wanted to let you know that there's been a transfer offer. We're considering, I don't know, maybe if you want to go, then we could make something happen. And let's say that the transfer offer comes from, I don't know, let's say for example that you've signed with maybe a mid-tier or a small club and the offer comes from like a gigantic Premier League club, like, I don't know, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, I mean, whatever you want. Basically one of the big clubs. And like I said before, maybe it's even possible that the transfer might not come from another big Premier League club. Maybe there's a chance that they could find a way for Alex Hunter to play abroad, outside of the Premier League, for a huge club like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern. I mean, you just list them off. I think they could definitely make it work if Alex Hunter was to go to an absolutely, like, you know, massive club. He would be playing in a different league, and that might complicate things if they were to do a third season of the journey. Like, would they continue to have a storyline for him in La Liga or in the Bundesliga? That might get a little bit complex, but I still think that they could pull it off. him going to a huge club like Barcelona or Real Madrid. I think it'd be realistic too. You got this incredibly talented young prospect that looks like he's going to be the next best player ever. And of course you want the biggest clubs to go in for him. And of course the biggest clubs are Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern and all that. But I think I'm really starting to get toward the end of what I want to see in the journey in Season 2. We've got World Cup football. That's what I want to see. International football. Alex Hunter with England. I would love to see a little bit more European football thrown into the mix there as well. More dynamic, more cutscenes that make more sense. I want a really dynamic story. Transfer offers, the fact that you might be able to be bought by another club, I think that would be sensational. I'd love to see how that would work as well. Maybe the fact that Williams does join your club and you two sort of work together as a partnership, that would be terrific as well. So they're pretty much the main points. They're the bulk of what I would love to see, some new things in Season 2. Talking about some other cool stuff that maybe I think it'd be nice for them to throw in, maybe things like, I don't know, more sponsorships and more opportunities for sponsorships, if you know what I mean. Things like being able to feature in magazines, advertisements maybe, and who knows, maybe even being able to get a custom boot. Other cool things too, like obviously we saw cutscenes of him getting informs in FIFA, which was very cool. I'd love to see him maybe try to get like into team of the season, hell, team of the year if he does good enough, who knows, maybe even, yeah, and just other stuff like that. Maybe even potentially there might be some sort of a storyline where there's a chance that he might become the FIFA 19 cover star. But I reckon that is pretty much all of it. So I think I'm going to leave it here. Once again, thank you so much for watching. And of course, let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see personally in Season 2 of The Journey. Would you rather it come out as DLC this year for FIFA 17 or maybe for FIFA 18 as well? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll leave the next video for you to watch right here. And until then, have a good one.